In the quiet of this new dawn, I invite you on a journey through the valleys of solitude and the peaks of reflection, through times when the heart weighs heavy with unspoken sorrows and life's path seems shrouded in mist. It's in these moments, these quiet, still moments, that many of us find ourselves reaching for a beacon of light, a guide to navigate the unknown. For countless souls, that light has shimmered forth from the ancient yet ever-new words of the Bible. If you've ever felt adrift in the storm, enveloped in the shadow of loneliness, this story is yours as much as mine. Let's embark on a quest for understanding, comfort, and companionship together. As the dawn breaks on the horizon, let us discover the enduring promise that even after the darkest night, the light of dawn always awaits. In my walk through the forest of life, enveloped by a mist of solitude, I've often pondered the nature of loneliness. It's a silence filled with the echoes of unspoken dreams, a chasm that seems to widen in the midst of noise and crowd. The Psalms speak of such a journey, where even kings like David confessed to feeling abandoned, crying out from the depths, "Why, O Lord, do you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble?" Yet, in his despair, David found solace, not in the company of men, but in the presence of the Almighty. It was in the quiet, in the stillness, that he heard God whisper, "I am with you always, even to the end of the age." This promise became my anchor, a reminder that even when I walk through the darkest valleys, I do so not alone, but hand in hand with the Creator of the stars. Beneath the tapestry of the night sky, I've often sought answers, whispered prayers into the vastness, wondering if they reach the ears of God. The Psalms, those ancient songs of lament and praise, became a mirror reflecting my own heart's cries. David's pleas for guidance and presence resonated deeply. "Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy." In the solitude of the night, with only the stars as my witness, I discovered that God's presence is not confined to temples made by hands, but is as near as the whispering wind, as intimate as the flickering flame. This realization, that God meets us in our loneliness and becomes our steadfast companion, has been the balm to my weary soul. In the quietude of my own Gethsemane, I've knelt, burdened by sorrows too heavy to bear, fears too daunting to face. It was here, in the garden of my surrender, that I encountered Jesus in his most vulnerable moment. "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow," he prayed, as the weight of the world's sin pressed upon him. In his solitude, Jesus exemplified the ultimate surrender. "Not my will, but yours be done." This act of submission, this intimate moment of trust, has shown me that even in the deepest anguish, there is strength in surrender, peace in the acceptance of his will. In my garden of prayer, I've learned to lay down my fears at his feet, finding solace in the assurance of his love and purpose for me. As the dawn breaks on my journey, I've found the courage to step out of the shadows of solitude, discovering the warmth of fellowship among those who walk this path of faith alongside me. Acts 2:42-47 paints a vivid picture of the early church, a community bound by shared belief, mutual support, and unwavering love. In their gathering, in the breaking of bread and prayers, I found a reflection of my own longing for connection. This fellowship, rooted in faith and love, has taught me that we are never meant to walk alone. In the garden of community, we find strength in our shared stories, joy in our collective worship, and the presence of God in our midst, binding us together in his boundless love. On this journey of faith, I've walked paths that seemed too steep and too treacherous to navigate alone. Doubts like shadows crept in, whispering of unseen falls and uncharted wilderness ahead. Yet along these very paths, I discovered the essence of trust. Proverbs 3:5-6 became a lamp unto my feet. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." With each step taken in faith, the shadows receded, revealing the path before me and the presence beside me. Trusting in him, I found the courage to face the unknown, knowing that my journey was guided by his hand. In the stillness of dusk, by the quiet lakeside. I've listened for the voice of God, a whisper on the breeze, a murmur in the waves. It was in these moments of silent contemplation that I felt His presence most acutely, not as a roar, but as a gentle whisper, calling me to stillness, to listen, to be. Elijah's encounter with God on Mount Horeb revealed the power of that divine whisper, a voice that speaks not in the earthquake or fire, but in the sheer silence that follows. In the quiet of my heart, I've learned to listen for that whisper, to find in it the peace that surpasses understanding, the assurance that in every moment, God is with me. In the sanctuary of His grace, I've found a home. Here, among the gathered faithful, in the simple chapel of wood and stone, I've experienced the embrace of God's grace. It's a grace that knows no bounds, that sees beyond our flaws, our fears, our failures, and welcomes us just as we are. Ephesians 2:8-9 whispers of this gift, "For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith. And this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God." In the act of worship, in the shared silence and spoken prayers, I am reminded of the depth of His love, a love that sacrificed all for our redemption. In this embrace of grace, I am renewed, ready to walk forth in faith, bathed in the light of His love. As we come to the end of our journey together, I am reminded that this path we walk is not meant to be traveled alone. Through the valleys of loneliness, to the peaks of solace, in the gardens of prayer, and the sanctuaries of fellowship, we are accompanied every step by a presence that guides, comforts, and loves unconditionally. May the stories shared, the scriptures explored, and the moments of reflection serve as beacons on your own path. Remember, in every sunrise, in every whisper of the wind, in the quiet of your heart, He is there. Thank you for walking with me. Until our paths cross again, may you be held in the embrace of His grace. Be well, and God bless.